You know, when a piece of software gets old, it's usually supposed to just fade away. But some programs, they refuse to die because they're kept alive by the sheer passion of dedicated fans. Today, we're diving into one of the most amazing examples of this I've ever seen, a fan project that's breathing new life into classic versions of Windows. So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll talk about the problem of obsolescence, when software gets old. Then, we'll meet the fan-made revival that came up with a fix. We're going to see exactly how this whole restoration works, cover the very important fine print, and finally, look at why this is so much more than just code. Okay, so every piece of software basically has an expiration date. Eventually, companies like Microsoft stop supporting their older stuff. It's a process called sunsetting, and when that happens, no more security patches, no more bug fixes, and key features like the original Windows Update website, they just switch off. They're gone. Which, of course, leads to a pretty obvious question, right? If an operating system like, say, Windows 98 is basically a digital fossil, why on earth would anyone today need to update it? Well, the answer isn't really about practicality. It has way more to do with nostalgia and just personal taste. See, for a lot of these folks, it's not about security. It's about the aesthetics. Modern interfaces are all flat and minimalist, very clean, very functional. But for decades, design was skeuomorphic. It was designed to look like real things. You remember the glossy buttons and transparent glass from the old Windows 7 Aero look? For some people, that classic vibe, it just feels better. So if you're one of those people who really misses that old school digital feel, what do you do? Well, that's where this incredible community of fans comes in. They built an entire project to scratch that very specific nostalgic itch. It's called Windows Update Restored, and it's exactly what it sounds like, a completely unofficial, totally fan-run project. And their goal? It's simple. But man, is it ambitious. They want to bring back the original Windows Update website so that anyone running these classic systems can use them just like they did 20 years ago. And I just love this part. The creators are completely upfront about why they're doing it. In their own FAQ, when asked, hey, what's the point? The answer is simple: fun and nostalgia. This isn't about trying to make an old system secure for today's internet. Nope. It's about the pure joy of making a vintage computer work the way it was always meant to. So how in the world did they actually pull this off? I mean, how do you resurrect websites that have been dead for years? This is where it gets really clever. It's part technical wizardry and, honestly, part what you could only call digital archaeology. The magic key to this whole operation is a little piece of old Microsoft tech called an ActiveX control. The best way to think about it is like a special translator. Back in the day, when you'd visit the official update site in Internet Explorer, this tiny program would download. It would let the website talk to your computer and figure out exactly which updates you were missing. And their whole mission was to make the experience feel exactly like the original. So you fire up an old version of Internet Explorer, you go to the site, the ActiveX control does its thing, it scans your computer, and boom, there's your list of available updates. You just check the boxes you want, hit install, and it does the rest. It's perfectly, authentically retro. So where did they even find all these old update files? And this is where that digital archaeology thing really kicks in. The team literally had to hunt for these files all over the digital world. Some were surprisingly still sitting on Microsoft's old servers. Others were rescued from places like the Internet Archive's Wayback Machine. They even dug some out of old developer CD-ROMs. They gathered everything into their own repository just to make sure these files are never lost again. Now, as cool as all this is, we've got to talk about this serious side for a second. This is super important. Bringing old software back to life comes with some major disclaimers. The project is impressive, but it's totally unofficial, and the team is crystal clear about the risks. Their legal page puts it right out there, no sugarcoating it. It says, and I'm quoting directly, "Neither the Windows Update Restored team nor Microsoft Corporation can be held responsible for any damages." Basically, if you use this, you're doing it at your own risk. It's on you. They want to make sure everyone knows what they're getting into. And this is what's so respectable about this project, their transparency. See, sometimes an original update file for Microsoft is just gone, lost to time. When that happens, the team sometimes has to recreate the package themselves to deliver the files, but they don't hide it. Official updates are signed by Microsoft Corporation, but anything the team had to repackage, it's clearly signed by windowsupdateorrestored.com. So you always know exactly what you're installing. So let's just recap the big warnings here, the fine print you absolutely need to know. First, and this is the big one, this project does not make an old computer secure. Second, they are not affiliated with Microsoft in any way. Third, they strongly advise you to back up all of your data first. And finally, they respect your privacy. The project doesn't collect any of your personal data. Okay, so we've covered the tech and we've covered the warnings, but that all brings us to what's really at the heart of this whole thing. This isn't just about files and servers. It's about people. It's a real testament to the power of a passionate community. And get this, the whole thing started from a single forum post in March 2022. Just one person, a user named WL Lover, had an idea. And from that one idea, a whole community of developers and testers grew. They launched publicly just over a year later, and they even merged with another similar project to combine their efforts. It's a genuine grassroots success story. And this quote from their site, it just perfectly captures their entire philosophy. It's a really powerful statement about user choice. They believe that if people understand the risks, they have the right to use whatever software or operating system they want. They know that some people are just going to use these old systems, whether Microsoft likes it or not. So when you step back and really look at it, a project like Windows Update Restored, it's doing so much more than just saving old lines of code. It's preserving a feeling, an aesthetic, a piece of our shared digital history. And it really leaves you with a final big question. In an age where we're all obsessed with the next new thing, what is the real value of looking back?